Hi everybody, welcome back to Andrew McDonald English. This is lesson 10, and today's video is a bit of a mix of things because we have three smaller topics today, and those are there is versus there are, indefinite articles, so a and an, and then countable versus uncountable nouns, which objects have number and which objects don't. So, without further ado, let's start with the first topic. There is versus there are. So, these are to show, to present existence. It's hard to explain. In French, you'd say il y a. In Spanish, you'd say hay. But it would really just be with a certain object. So, I have this pen. There is one pen, right? Things like that. So, the rules are quite simple. Use there is for singular nouns. That's something that there's just one. Use there are for plural nouns. That's something that is two or more. Use there isn't, which we know is there is not, for singular negatives, and there aren't for plural negatives. And that just means are not. So, these are quite simple. It's just plural, are and aren't, singular, is and isn't. Okay, so let's just look at the examples down here. So, this just asks you to add there is or there are in front of the sentence to complete it. Okay, so let's do the first two together. Here we have a book on the table. The first thing I see is that a book is one item. Because it's just A. A is essentially saying one book on the table. So for here, because there's one item, it would be there is. Let's look at number 10. We'll look at the last one. Number 10 is any cookies. Any cookies. Now, any is more than one. Any is two or more. And cookies is also plural. Also note that it says negative over here. So that means that there are no cookies. The way you'd say that is there aren't. Okay, so go ahead and complete 2 through 9. Pause the video, do these questions, and we'll come back together and correct them after. Okay, so now that you've completed this exercise, let's go through the rest of the problems together. All right, number 2, the object you see is 3 chairs. 3 chairs. That is plural. And it's positive, so it would be there are. Okay, next one you see is an apple. An apple. This also is just one, so it would be there is. Okay, number 4, 2 dogs. 2 dogs. That would be there are because it is 2. There are 2 dogs in the yard. Okay, number 5. Number 5 is a pencil, 1. However, it is negative as well. So number 5 would be there isn't. Isn't. There isn't a pencil in my backpack. Number 6. 5 students in the classroom. 5. That's plural. So it would be there are. Number 7. A spider on the wall. That's just one, but it is negative. So we'd say there isn't. Number 6. Excuse me, not number 6, number 8. Many stars in the sky. Many. Many means a lot. So many. And so because that's more than one, of course, that would be there are. And finally, number 9, a computer on the desk. A computer. That's only one, so it would be isn't because it's negative. So it would be there isn't. Okay. Please take a look at these. If there were any mistakes, I recommend you just go and rewatch the part of the video and the explanation. There are only 4 essential possibilities. There is for singular positive, there are for plural positive, there isn't for singular negative, and there aren't for plural negative. And that's it. Okay, so still up here on this topic, you may have noticed this phrase here, an apple, which is actually singular with the there is. However, it's not like it's an. It's not like a pencil, it's an apple. Why is that? This actually leads into the next lesson down here, which is indefinite articles. So, in English, there are 2 indefinite articles. No gender, there is no difference, it's just a and an. A pencil, an apple. How do you know which one? Well, in lesson 1, all the way back in lesson 1, we talked about vowels. These are the main vowels here. And if you have one of these, you use an. So, if you have one of these letters at the start of the word, you use an. Let's look at a few examples. Over here we have a dog, a pencil, a house. But here, with vowels, we have an apple, an elephant, an umbrella. Right? So it's if we have these vowels as the first letter, is we put the an. So, please continue with the same thing here. This is another quite simple exercise, but it's just good for practice. Fill in either with a or an for all of these nouns here. Pause the video, go ahead and complete this, and we'll do it together once you resume. Okay, now that you've gone through this topic, let's correct it together. Okay, I saw blank elephant at the zoo. Now, the first thing you see is that elephant has a vowel as the first letter. It's an E, so it would be an. Next one. She bought blank orange from the store. Now, orange also has a vowel. This is an O, so it would be an. She bought an orange from the store. Number 3. He has blank red bike. This is just a consonant, not a vowel, so you just be a. He has a red bike. Number 4, we need a pen to write. They ate an apple after lunch. She is an honest person. Now, this one is difficult. Take a look at why. Okay, so, an honest person. This word here, honest, has an H at the start, but the H is silent. The H is silent. You don't hear it. So it's spelled like this. Honest. Even though there's the H, it could be honest, but it's not. It's honest. So we pretend in our hearing the O is the first letter. That is the first letter that we speak, so it's an honest person. It's a little confusing, but when you have the silent letter, the vowel decides. Let's keep going. Number 7, he saw a bird on the tree. I have an idea. It is a useful book. She drew a unicorn. Now, these are different. These 2 down here are important. So, the reason that these both have you, but they're not an, they're a. Whereas if you had the word umbrella, you would put an umbrella. So why do you put a useful book, a unicorn? Because it's the U, the vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. And it asks you for a vowel sound, not just the vowel itself. So, the U, in this case, useful, and unicorn, useful, unicorn makes a Y, a Y sound. Useful and unicorn makes a Y sound. Do you see that? So, because of this Y sound, we actually use a instead. It's about the sound. A unicorn. A useful book. So I know these aren't as simple as they may come across because it's not about the first letter itself, it's the sound. Now, these may be a U, but we say because it's the Y sound. Unicorn. Y. This may be an H, but we say N because of the silent H is an O. Honest. So it does take a bit of practice, but just looking at these words, sounding them out, I think is the best way to go about learning this. Okay, and so our last topic now is countable versus uncountable nouns. So first, what does this mean? Countable means you can give it a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, anything. 1 dog. 2 dogs, 3 dogs, 4 dogs, 5 dogs, right? Uncountable means there is no number for it. You can't just give it a number. So let's look at a few of these parts here. Uncountable nouns cannot be counted individually, especially. Like milk, water, or rice, you can't say 1 milk, 1 water, because it's just an amount. You can't apply an amount to that. So because of that, you have to use quantifiers like some, much, a lot of, or a piece of. These words are how we apply an amount to uncountable nouns. So some, much, a lot of, or a piece of are just some of the ways we can use to describe uncountable nouns. Some means a portion. Maybe it's 30%. Maybe it's 65%. It's just a portion. Much means the majority. So you have, here's your pie, you're taking almost all of it, right? Much means you're taking all of it. Same with a lot of. Those actually are the same way to say it. A piece of is just one small, usually uniform part. So if you think of a chocolate bar, and you cut it into 8 pieces, let's say, we'll cut it into 6 pieces. So you'll cut it into 6 pieces. These are just pieces, right? So 1 piece, 2 piece, 3 piece, 4 piece. So this is 4 pieces. The whole thing is 6 pieces, but just this is a piece. So this would be a piece of something. Okay, so I know this is not easy, but just try to either write countable or uncountable for each noun. This may take some of your own independent research. I have a Quizlet linked below in the description that I truly recommend, which will help you learn which nouns are countable in which nouns are not countable. That Quizlet has around 90 terms and it's located in the description below. I really think you should study it to help memorize these because there's no rule. We don't know why. Some are countable, some are not. So try to use that Quizlet below to memorize it. Okay, go ahead, complete this form here and pause the video, do it, and once you're done, we'll look together and we'll correct them. Okay, now that you've completed this exercise, we'll go through it together, and then I'll also provide some counters over on this right portion of the column so that you can quantify these objects. All right, let's start. Bread. Bread is uncountable. So for bread, the common quantifiers are a loaf, a loaf of, which is the whole thing, or a piece of, which is just one slice. Okay, continuing on with apple. Apple is countable. Next is water. Water is uncountable. A way we often count water is a cup of water. You could say a liter of water, but you cannot say a water. No, it won't make any sense. Number 4 is pencil, and pencil is countable. 5 is rice, and rice is not countable, uncountable. Now for rice, you could say a bag of, which is just a bag of rice, a grain of. A grain of rice is the little piece, just one piece of rice. Okay, let's keep going. Chair. Chair is countable. Now milk is uncountable. Common quantifiers are a glass or cup of milk, just a cup of milk, or a carton of milk. A carton of milk is just the big container, the massive one like this, a carton. Okay, car. Car is countable. However, information is uncountable. Information is uncountable, and I suppose a common quantifier for information would be a piece you could use. A bit also works. That just means like a little amount. And then lastly, tomato is countable. 1 tomato, 2 tomatoes, etc. Okay, so have a look at this. If anything, make note of these, the common quantifiers that we'd use for uncountable nouns. Now, there are no rules for this. Some are countable, some are uncountable. It's not really known too much as why. However, the best way to truly learn this is in the Quizlet I have below. So please check out that Quizlet. It'll be down in the description below. As well, this worksheet with all of the words, all of these notes, as well as blank with nothing is also down below in the description as always. So yeah, that would be it. That was indefinite articles, there is versus there are, and countable versus uncountable nouns. As always, please subscribe, especially if you thought these videos were helpful. Please feel free to leave any comments or suggestions or advice. And thank you again so much for watching.